Hi, I'm Jodi Robinson, an instructor with iquilt, and I'd like to give you a little tip today regarding quilt density. And what I mean by that is the density in your quilting designs. And you can see on this example, because I wanted these pieced items to be popped forward in the quilt, I wanted the backing to be pushed back. So the tip I have is that for me, what I always think is that if you want this item up, the thing next to it needs to be down. And that's an easy way to make sure that you always, because in this example, had I left this all up without the pebble quilting, it just kind of would have all blended together. And so you can see it just creates a lot more dimension. And certainly it would be fine if you didn't put that. But you can see that this creates the puff in this design. And the idea of one thing up and one thing down is just an easy way to remember it. And this really came into play for me on my quilt Tiki Dilemma. When I designed the quilting, I had three very distinct areas of the quilt. I had the background, which I wanted to be the farthest back, so I quilted that very densely. I had the yellow pole sections, which I wanted to be behind the applique shape, so to speak, but in front of the background. So those are medium density quilting, just some simple straight lines spaced fairly far apart. And for the applique pieces, which I wanted to be the foremost part of the quilt, I used very simple straight line designs with the least amount of quilting of any other part of the quilt. And so it kind of creates the three very different and noticeable depths to the quilt. And so that's just, you know, something to think about. I think a lot of times we pick quilting designs and we quilt it, you know, and there's not so much thought, where you can really achieve a lot just in choosing the proper density in the designs and the areas that you want to bring forward or push back in your quilt. So the more quilting you have, the denser quilting, that particular item or area of your quilt is going to fall to the background. And the items on your quilt, the areas, the blocks that have the least quilting are going to come forward. If you'd like to learn more about adding dimension to your quilting, you can sign up for my class at iquilt.